Okay, hi. I have a story time. Maybe some of you know that I went and attempted to take a vacation for the first time in, oh God, years. The trip ended up being me fighting with a hotel. It was a train wreck, so we can talk about that. I'm gonna have to call my friend to see if I'm allowed to talk about it yet. Hi, I have a quick question for you because I'm streaming right now. You're not on speakerphone, by the way. Have we exhausted all options? Like, can I finally talk publicly about this? Hell yeah, it's talking time. Okay, send me the pictures. Thank you. So my friend has told me that the hotel has in fact pretty much ignored us. They have not followed up with us on anything. So it's story time. Let's start with the casino in question. So I went to Las Vegas to take a couple days off because there's a lot of terrible shit's going on in my life right now, like just in my family and stuff like that. And just personally, just a lot of stress and everything going on. So I decided that I was like, you know what, maybe I should just do a very spontaneous last minute trip and just go to Vegas and try and relax. So I go to Caesars Casino. Not to any of their things, but their flagship fucking casino, Caesars Palace themselves. We bought like a room that was like a mini suite because me and my friend, we both were just friends, right? Like that's it. And it's very hard to get like rooms when you're just friends and you're not actually trying to fuck in Vegas. It's apparently quite difficult to do. So they offered us this upgrade when we were at the front desk and they were like, hey, if you spend a little extra more money per night, we will upgrade you to like a 1-bedroom suite, but then it has like a connector door. So it makes a 2-bedroom suite. And that way you guys can have separate like bedrooms. And I was like, hell yeah, like that sounds really great. Like I've never done something like that. So I was like, cool, let's do it. And I actually tweeted about as this shit started happening. So we go up to the room, the first room before we upgraded, because she was like, why don't you go look at your room before you upgrade or whatever, and then you can come back down if you don't like it. So we go up to the room and the first room was like a little junior suite, but it had like 2 queen beds in it. And it just had like a living room. Like it was fine, no big deal. As we're going down on the elevator, because I know I tweeted about this, we are going down this elevator and these guys get in the elevator and they turn their backs to us and they're standing in the corner and someone's like, you know, you can hear the little plastic baggies interchanging. They're being sneaky. They're hiding out of view of the camera. Like I'm not fucking stupid. Okay. Like I know. And I'm like, I'm not going to fucking snitch over it or whatever, but I'm like, yo, that's really fucking sketchy. So we go downstairs and I was like, yeah, you know, I think we'd maybe like to switch to a different tower. I don't want to be in that tower where the dudes are that are, you know, dealing something because weed's not illegal in Vegas. So if you're being sketchy like that, you know what I mean? Like, I just know it's not weed. She goes, this upgrade, $450 a night extra. So we get a cheaper one. Not that it was much fucking cheaper, but we talked about it. She sends us to this other elevator, like this other tower, and we're put on the 69th floor, which was nice. You would think. So we get up to this new like 2-room suite thing that we paid for, which was still a couple extra $100 a night, not $450 a night, but it was still pricey. But we were like, you know what? We think it'll be safer if we do this. So we get up there and the keys don't work. We can't get into the room. So then we had to go back down again. And then we get a new set of keys. And then we go up to the room. And the room was not great quality. This room, clearly like people had not been in there for a while. You know, like certain light bulbs weren't working. Curtains were like ripped. We just kind of dealt with it because we felt like we were really annoying already. We walk in. Come on, let me get these photos and videos up. So there'd be things like this. Now keep in mind, this was like a 2-bedroom kind of suite and you guys can see like the curtains are literally ripped and falling down. And this was just one of them. Like all of them were like this. This was like a lamp where it's literally just like falling off its base. And then here's the shower. Do you see all that rust? This is absolutely fucking sick. So this is what they gave us. But I was like, oh, you know, this isn't the greatest thing in the world. We can deal with it. So then the next day we leave and we go walk around and, you know, just kind of enjoy Vegas in the daytime. And we get back to the hotel room and it started with this, which doesn't seem like much, right? But a pint of Ben & Jerry's ice cream. It seems weird. And just follow me with this because we didn't buy ice cream. There's no ice cream in their little mini bar fridge thing that you can buy. We had like this little living room kind of comfy, squishy couch, right? and all the couch cushions were turned over when we came back. So we had left the hotel at like 9 in the morning, and this is now 7:30, 8 o'clock at night when we're returning back home to the hotel room after walking around all day and just kind of people watching and stuff. And so all the couch cushions are overturned. Someone was clearly sitting in the room. They were clearly using the room. They were looking for something in the room, like I don't know what. And then there's a random sealed jar or pint or whatever this is of ice cream, and it's left there and it's melted. It was warm. You could shake it and it was like liquidy in there. It was just kind of weird. So then we go into our separate bedrooms, and like we didn't fully unpack our suitcases. Like totally, I admit, whatever, being lazy. The suitcase was ruffled through. Like my shit was taken out and put on the floor. Like my clothes were strewn about the room. Like it was weird. My friend goes to his room. He goes to look at his safe, and his safe is semi-busted open. Like, you know how hotels give you a safe? The safe front plate, like the like where the handle is, was ripped off. So at that point, I literally told him, I said, don't you touch a fucking thing in this room. Call security right now to this room. So that's what we did. We called Caesars Casino, Caesars Palace security, and like 5 or 6 dudes come upstairs. Like it was really sketchy as shit. So like 5 guys come upstairs, and then there's one more guy standing outside the hotel room, just like watching. So they do take the little lock thing that like you can bolt your hotel room shut, and they leave it so like the door stays open. And these 5 guys come in, they start scouring the room. They take photos of like the semi ripped open safe and like the ice cream that you guys see here and all this other kind of shit. And then they tell us that the GM for Caesars Casino or Caesars Palace, whatever the fuck, that they're going to take a look into this and see what happened. So we were like spooked. And so we're like, okay. And they were like, oh, the GM's going to call you tonight. And so we're like, okay, for sure. So we just kind of panicked and we're like, okay, well, let's go to dinner. So I took the stuff that was in his safe and we put it into my safe. We locked everything up. We took a bag and carried like our more like valuable items in it. And we left the hotel room, and security told us that they were going to check who had access to unlock the key, like unlock the room, who else came into that room. They were going to look at security cameras, and they assured us like everything was going to be okay. We're like, is it okay if we go to dinner? Is someone going to be like watching this room? Like, is it going to get broken into again? Like, what's going to happen? And they were like, it's going to be fine. They were like, afterwards, when you get back, they were like, file a report with the hotel, like a formal written report. And so we're like, okay, cool. Like, this is not a problem. So we go out, we go to dinner, we try and relax. We just have like some Italian food. And I was like, this will be okay. Like, you know, they're going to take care of us. They're fine. This is Caesar's Palace. Like, they're not going to do anything bad. Like, they're going to make sure that this problem is fixed, and whatever happened, they're going to get to the bottom of it. We get back and we file a report, and the GM has still not called us. And they told us that the general manager is who is going to be able to move us to a new hotel room because we wanted to leave. Well, no one ever fucking called us. So that night I took chairs and stuff from the living room and I barricaded our doors shut. I'm sure it doesn't do anything ultimately. It was really spooky. Neither of us really slept the night. I think we probably slept a total of 3 hours, like almost in shifts, because one of us wanted to be awake while the other one was sleeping because we didn't know what the fuck was going on. Security wasn't telling us anything else. And that was it. So the next morning, the GM still doesn't call. And so we go down to the front desk and they tell us that security never told them anything, and then said that the security people said we declined and didn't want to make a statement anymore, which was nuts. Like a fucking nuts statement. And we're like, no, like you guys came in, you guys took photos of what happened and like the safe and everything. And then you guys told us the GM was going to call us that night, and then no one's fucking called us. This kind of went on for days. So we didn't do much in Vegas at that point. We spent our time like calling the head of security, calling, you know, managers, talking to management. So we didn't do anything in Vegas anymore because we spent every day being like, what the fuck is going on here? So then we go down to the front desk. This front desk guy, like the next day or whatever, he laughs at us at the front desk and goes, well, we'll reimburse you $75 for your pain. And I almost wanted to cry. Like both of us were going to fucking cry in that moment. So we go to the Aria and we start talking to people at the Aria with MGM, because Caesars Palace is obviously part of the Caesars program. We're like, hey, if this situation happened to you, what would you do in this situation? And they immediately panicked. They're like, did this happen at our casino? Like, who did this? Can you give us a name? Like, we'll get to the bottom of this right now. Like, everyone was super like freaked out. And I said, no, this happened at Caesars. And so the lady at Aria that we were talking to, God, I think her name was Molly. She was a superstar, by the way. Molly over at the Crystal Shops at Aria. She goes, here's what you need to do. If they're not going to do anything about it, she was like, file a police report. She was like, call the Las Vegas Police Department and file a report. Have an officer show up and have them take a report of what happened to you. And so we're like, okay, we go to file the police report. And as we're doing so, we pass by the front lobby. So my friend goes up and goes to them and is like, hey, just wanted to let you know, we called the Las Vegas police to talk about the break-in incident that happened in our room. So we're going to have the Las Vegas police come in and take a report because we need action and you guys aren't taking it. And when I tell you very fucking suddenly, Caesars can all of a sudden move us to a new room, escort us out. Like we were like, had like a little fucking security team surrounding us as we're like being transported around the hotel and shit like that. And suddenly we're put into this new hotel room. And then the police officers finally show up after we've been moved and everything. So now we're out of the room and the police officer's like, so they moved you out of the room entirely. Like, so this room is not the room that was broken into. And we were like, no, they moved us out of the broken room. You know, so the officer's like, okay, so the incident happened 3 floors up. It didn't happen in this room. And we're like, right. And we're like, we still want to make a report because we don't think that they're doing anything to help us and they don't give a shit about us anymore. And so he was like, okay. So he's like, here's what you're going to do. Tell us what happened. And he was like, I'm recording this. He had a body cam thing on. And then we were filling out the actual reports. He gave us this card that was like showed the report number and the follow-up and everything so that we can call the police instead. You know, obviously, so now we're armed with a police report and we're armed with Caesars being whatever the fuck they're doing. So here's what's extra sketchy, which is unofficial. This is he said, she said, right? So this is not officially part of my experience. So we took a town car. So this one guy, we start talking to him about what happened. And he was like, hey, he's like, this is probably not going to make you feel any more comfortable. But he's like, but a similar situation just happened at the Flamingo like 2 weeks ago. So the Flamingo is also owned by Caesars for the record. He said an older couple was staying at the Flamingo, which is a Caesars property. And he said their room was broken into. This older couple had $9,000 in their safe and a temporary housekeeping employee broke into their room. And by broke into their room, he used their access card, stole the $9,000 cash, like broke open the safe or had like a key or something to unlock the safe as an employee, took the money and then got into bed with the woman, with the wife. And the wife apparently said, I guess maybe they had talked to this driver or whatever. And the wife was like, oh yeah, you know, he didn't touch me or anything, but he got into bed with me. And he goes, I don't think this is going to be comforting to you. And I was like, yeah, no, that's not comforting to me at all to know that this happened on another Caesars property just a couple weeks before. So we end up spending the whole time in Vegas just panicking, like just freaking out that, you know, when's security going to call us? Oh, we need to check on security. We need to see when the police are going to call us. When's this manager going to call us? Like it just turned into a fucking job again. And now the day comes to check out and we saw that our bill was $2,800. And so we panicked because we didn't even understand what the charges were because we didn't do like room service or anything. So it was like this crazy expensive bill. And so we go down to the front desk and we go, well, you know, what are you going to do about this? Our room got broken into. You guys have told us jack shit. We have heard that your other hotels are being broken into. We had to call the fucking police. We couldn't do anything except to contact your guys' management every goddamn day and night. And you guys can't give us answers. And so we're like, quite frankly, you've ruined our trip and we don't want to pay for this hotel room. And that's like literally the least you can do. And they told us no. So my friend was like, well, you know, if you can't do it, bring us someone who can. And so he brings out this other guy, who's the guy I ended up recording the call with that I have on my phone, which I've already backed up the audio. And this dude, towards the end of the call, my friend clarifies that the guy essentially goes, because we paid like a deposit, like an online deposit to reserve the room that was like $190 or something like that. And so the guy goes, okay, we'll refund everything but the $192 from the online pre-booking thing. And we're like, you know what? If you do that, we'll be happy. And he goes, okay, cool. We just checked our credit card statements like last week. They charged us for fucking everything. And then on top of it, he told us, which I, again, have on fucking recording, that he said he's going to call us by Friday, which was, what's today? Wednesday? Couple days ago. So he said he was going to call us by the 18th of February to tell us what they found, and they never called us. So my friend is literally in the recording because we're pointing at a paper that the manager gave us, which we took. So we have the paper as well too, of my friend going, so to reiterate, we are only going to pay this $192 and nothing more. And the guy says yes. And then we were still charged more. Can I get a lawyer involved? Probably. That's the next step. We've done our due diligence. We've reported to the police. We were very diligent with all of the Caesar staff we were talking to. We were keeping in constant contact. We were filing and filling out reports. We were doing all these things, and we were polite. We weren't yelling. We weren't screaming. We were like, hey, this is just really not acceptable. And they still charge us for everything. And so I'm just kind of a little at a loss of what to do. And what my friend was telling me right before when we were on stream is, aside from getting a lawyer involved, there's nothing else really, for us to do at this time. And so that's why I'm telling you guys the story. I totally feel like this has probably happened before. And the guy admits on audio that this happens about once a month, by the way. I have that on recording. The funny thing is they sent an email asking us to rate our stay. And I'm like, I don't think you want my opinion. I really just think you do not want my opinion right now, if we're being completely frank.